that transition? How cool is that? Yeah! Welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham D. And I'm joined by a man remotely for the first time in the brand new ICU studio. I'll read, Bib.
Good. After morning. Way after morning, Graham. Like, I know I'm not quite central yet, so it's something that I might sort out while we're going through the first spiel. Like, I feel like this should be central. I mean, if I do this...
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
See that? Lovely. You love to see it. Lined up.
There we go.
Elgato Wave 3 mic, Elgato face cam, the ICU logo laptop in front. Nice.
Nice. Yes, I'm good, Graham. What about yourself?
I'm not too bad, mate. I'm not too bad. Oh, he hits that transition again. Oosh. Yeah. So for those that were on the stream last night, for those that are listening to this, by the way, you may hear like weird, wonderful audio bits. That is, we had not quite there yet, but we are almost tinkering with the new ICU transition. So basically, we have the Ice Cream Uploads logo, which obviously looks like this, the neon behind me, if you can see it, which was always made up as a 2D logo, which is fine. I was talking about last night. That the issue, though, is 2D logo, you can't really do 3D things with it. So we've been slowly getting in our spare time. So we have a design department at Jelly, obviously, who makes all our stuff look cool. We've asked them to put together some 3D-ish stuff, which is coming together now. So that's what that sexy transition is. Anyway, we've got a couple of different versions, so we're not quite 100% set on it, but you get the idea. So yeah, nice new transitions. Yeah. Middle screen seems crooked. No, it's Bibby that's crooked. Bibby's crooked. Camera in it yet. Like, do you know what? It's Nietzsche sent a picture of us. So we haven't fully, you can see it, like just above me. You look at the size of the gap on that edge of that screen versus the size of the gap on that screen that's over in that corner. The camera is not quite right. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those things. We'll get it. We'll get it cushed there. Oh, but today is not the day. Yeah, anyway, welcome into the stream. Be a fridge. Enjoy your gifted sub from Nietzsche. Wow. Good to see you in the stream. Thank you very much for dropping in. Lotus was in nice and early with Yanan. Not with your nan, but with well, you know, I never know. I'm not saying no. I mean, your nan might. Do you know what? Never mind. JMK is also in the chat. We got the Triggermeister. Nietzsche dropping down the alligator is so angry because they got all those teeth and no toothbrush, as we were in the countdown. I think that was as well. Yeah. And Taste Buds here. Yeah. Anyone else? If I've missed anyone, I apologise. So yeah, do feel free to get involved over the next hour or so. If you don't know who we are, if you don't know what we're doing, well, my name is Graham. This guy over there, sat in the beautiful studio, is Bib. We are Ice Cream Uploads, and in true ice creamy fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. We will be bringing you your daily dose of news from the world of video games and beyond over the next hour or so, and then we will give you our thoughts and impressions on that news. But it's not just about our thoughts and impressions. We'll bring you the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories, plus our thoughts and impressions, but we then want to hear your thoughts and impressions, and then your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. So if you're in the stream, please do feel free to get involved. We do go live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads each and every single weekday at
10 a.m.
Ish.
Massive-ish.
The time is it's 2:33 in the afternoon. It's not quite 10 a.m., but it's definitely a big old ish. I mean, there's a reason our ish emote is no longer a static emote, but it's animated with lots of eyes at the beginning because it's not ish, but it's ish. So yeah. True to form, we've gone live at 10 a.m.-ish. But if you are with us in the stream, please do feel free to get involved, because it's not just a live stream. The live stream is turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and Google Play. There is lots of places where people watch and listen to this show. Over 130,000 people have watched, listened, or downloaded this podcast on demand. So please do feel free to get involved on behalf of all of those beautiful people that may be just chilling out watching, sat in the car, maybe in the bath, you know, who knows? Whoever you are, if you are one of those people and we're speaking to you right now, welcome in. Hey, you're beautiful. We love you. Hey, hello. Yeah, you're right. Before we jump into the show, let me give you a couple of reminders. First up! Exclamation mark loot drop. Shout out to Lumps, who did join the Discord yesterday and has responded today. So Lumps is the winner of the April loot drop. Did you get a DM from Lumps at all? Did Lumps say what prize he was taking? Is he going for the hat? Is he going for a game of his choice? Do we know yet?
No, we don't.
Nope. So
we'll confirm soon. We'll confirm.
Nice. So he has claimed a prize. We don't know which. So if you don't know what the loot drop is, exclamation mark loot drop will give you the details. We give away one prize to one subscriber every month just for being a sub. That includes tier 1, 2, 3 prime subs. As long as you're a sub on the first Monday of the month, you will be included in the next draw. Next month will be on the 2nd of April. So Beerfrich, who's just been gifted a sub from Nietzsche, will be included in that draw. So do you know what? Pro tip, just hang around in the stream for a bit. If you get gifted, then you might even get yourself a prize the next month. Who knows? Who knows? Next month's prize, still TBC. We'll probably put an ICU hat and maybe another option in there as well. Just, give people the opportunity to get involved with the merch and stuff, but we'll see. Before we jump any further as well, I want to remind you that exclamation mark insert coin. We do work with insert coin. We get not only our merch, but some of the best merch from the world of video games as well on this channel, and that is from Insert Coin, exclamation mark Insert Coin. If you want to save yourself 20% off purchases, you don't have to do that to support the channel. We aren't paid through any sort of affiliate kickback stuff through Insert Coin, so don't feel like you have to buy anything to support us. Buy it because it's sexy stuff and you want to buy it for yourself, and if you do, you can save 20% off. But like I say, we don't earn from that, so don't feel like you have to do anything on that. Also, shout out to Insert Coin, who are at WASD, which is an actual games industry event that's happening in the UK today. Yay!
Can you believe it?
I know, who'd have thunk? Do you know what? An embargo has lifted since we last streamed as well, so we can talk that we've actually been at an event this week, Bib.
Yeah, yes, we have, Graham. I know, it's super top secret.
We obviously, you will have seen me and Bibby bantering either in stream or in the Discord or whatever, saying that we've had super secret stuff to do, but only really showed you the fact that we'd eaten burgers and stuff like that. But yeah, we ran a capture event earlier on this week. So yeah, it's nice to be able to say why there was no stream on Monday and Tuesday. It's because we were in Windsor doing a games industry press and media event, but we're back for you guys now.
We are.
So it's good. Yeah. Speaking of being back, I was back in the Battlegrounds last night. Some excellent games last night, playing with the Triggermeister, playing with Nietzsche. I do feel like I'm missing someone. Or was it just us three? I don't know.
I don't know. I went to bed about 9:30. I had you on in the front room, and you had the number one ICU super fan in Bibby Junior. He was loving it he was absolutely loving it until he wasn't, and then he lets you know pretty sharpish that he's not enjoying it anymore. But yeah, getting to watch you for like 3 hours in the front room whilst I was doing other things like cooking and that. It's been a while since I've been able to do that. But yeah, it looked like a good stream. Started it off with white lies, vision, dreams of passion.
Yeah.
That
Who
was
cooks
nice.
in their front rooms? Well, Bibby does, clearly.
No. If I showed you the layout of my house, you'd walk through the porch, you'd have the big TV, not quite as big as this, but
just to confirm, is this on the east or the west wing that we're talking about, the entrance?
We're talking about the west wing, Graham.
Oh, okay,
we're talking about the west wing.
Oh, the big one. Yeah, I get you now.
Yeah. So we have the big TV in the front room, and then in the kitchen we have a smaller TV that's on the wall as well. So when I'm on the little island thing and I'm chopping up and I'm doing whatever I need to do, got the TV there as well. So that's quite nice. It's quite nice having the ability to be able to do all that shit, obviously.
I mean, this is the thing with the West Wing. People don't realise, like Bibby's West Wing of his house. Obviously, he lives in a multi-winged, multifaceted, multi-storied manor house with many landlords.
Obviously,
because the acoustics that he's invested a lot to spread it around. People think that like it's not actually as big as it is. Like when he was doing a golf stream, people were like, "Is that a washing machine I can hear in your living room?" No, it's just because of the acoustics from the West Wing of Bibby Manor.
That was interesting, wasn't it? You got to speak up, mate. We can't hear because of the washing machine. All right, no worries. That was interesting. It's like it was Toby, wasn't it, that sent over like 1,000 people to watch me swing a fucking golf club in the front room. That was interesting.
Oh, what was it? Fee Golf? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, it's Fee Golf. Yeah. It drained my battery like nobody's business. That like 45 minutes we got out of that before my battery was dying.
Yeah, imagine that. You're just thinking, do you know what? I could play a golf game. Instead, I'm going to play what was basically a mobile version of a golf game. And you can swing a stick around to mimic actually swinging real life stuff. Nice. Then
it was during lockdown, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I couldn't actually go out and play golf, so I had to do that instead.
So all of that combined, and then having 1,000 people strong raid drop on you midstream, like, fuck.
It was so warm as well because it was like the height of summer. It was boiling hot in that house, and literally wearing all my golf clubber as well. Like I wasn't half-assing it. It was the full kit and caboodle. I was sweating my back out.
To be fair, just jump into the bib screen here. You actually look like you could be kitted out for golf with what you got on at the moment.
This is my golf top. I bought this, but this is my golf top. But it's like a fleece one because it was pissing it down this morning in Manchester. Like it was horrendous. So I put my little fleecy golf top on. And it's you know how cold this room is as well, so it's serving a great purpose at the moment.
Yeah. Well, speaking about serving great purposes, that's what we are here for. That's not a bad transition, I'll take that one. We are here to talk about video games industry news for you guys. So if you are in the stream, please do feel free to grab yourself a drink and some snacks or whatever, as we will jump through the stories today. And do you know what? I can tell you what they are. We will kick things off talking about Halo, as Halo Infinite Dataminer finds new evidence of an upcoming Battle Royale mode. So if you're a BR fan and you're a Halo fan, well, life could be getting exciting. As Last Spartan Standing certainly sounds like a Battle Royale mode. If not, that is possibly the coolest name for a Battle Royale that exists out there. Last Spartan Standing. Nice. So we'll kick things off with that. Then, do you know what? Because, we've just been speaking openly, nicely about Xbox stuff, and Tito is in the chat. We know he gets a little bit too excited, being an Xbox superfan. So we have to bring it back and just point out that Sony's Bungie acquisition saw more Twitter discussion than Microsoft's Activision Blizzard deal. So all I'm saying is Microsoft might have spent more money, but Sony, just gets the people talking. It's provocative. Gets the people going. Okay, fine. We're not really console war starters here. We just like to product people. Anyway, so that will be the second story. We'll then jump into, we're talking about Ubisoft potentially having new shooters yesterday. Well, do you know what? Might not have been this, but it's another story that kind of continues with that. Sean Murray at The Gamer has a story that says, new Ghost Recon reportedly in development as Ubisoft pulls the plug on Breakpoint. So we were talking about a game that could potentially replace... what was it called? Hyperscape yesterday. We're now Hypercrap. Yeah, pretty much. Now talking about a game that could be replacing Ghost Recon Breakpoint. We'll then talk about the fact that Max Payne 1 and 2 is being remade for current gen systems. And sad news, as another video games industry retailer in the UK appears to have gone out of business. We will go through those stories. But first, Bib, would you like to be the last Spartan standing?
Graham, when I pick up the controller and I play Halo, I am always the last Spartan standing.
Nice. Actually, let me jump back through the comments first. This is see, that's what I get for lurking and making a smart-ass comment. A damn gifted sub. I'm sorry, Beerfridge. You will have to grin and bear the ad-free viewing and the hands-down best emotes on Twitch for a month. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You'll just have to put up with it. I'm sorry. We've got some
updates to those coming soon as well, haven't we? Or have they already been put in?
We do. We have a few emotes that are not ready yet. Well, I think they are, but I don't think we've had them sent over because, to be fair, the design we're working on, the sexy transition and stuff like that. But do you know what? We might even get them in. I'll see if I can get them plugged in today because Tom is in today, right?
He is.
Yeah. Okay.
He is. Designer just had a meeting in the next room.
Okay. Well, I'll ask him to fire those over so we can add new emotes in. Yes. Today. Nice. Lovely bit of Mirado mechanics done too. Oh, forgot about that. Did anyone clip the Mirado mechanics bit from yesterday? If they didn't, well, I'm going to go back in and jump in that. If you
no, I did post an over yesterday, though. A clip that made me piss, where you and Beans are firing off the mortars and you stood in front of it.
Yeah, I'm like, science. Boom.
Yeah, for science. Bang. 200 meters.
Yep, it works. On the island, how big is your house? No, Bibby doesn't have an island specifically for his house. That would be silly. No, he at least has a garage on there as well. I mean, it's not wasteful. Good. Hashtag mansion. Windsor. Wonder what the game was then. It was eFootball. Tito. it was. I thought. Okay. Yeah, we're at the eFootball thing. Just didn't want to name names, but yeah, if you want, it's fine. Sounds like fun. All bot interactions. Yeah. Oh, and all the emotes in the world. Nice. But for now, though, let me jump into the first news article today. This is written by Joshua Robertson at the game. It says Halo Infinite Dataminer finds new evidence of an upcoming battle royale mode. Last Spartan Standing certainly sounds like a battle royale mode. So this is the article. Jumping into the body, it says it's safe to say that Halo Infinite players are becoming increasingly frustrated over the game's lack of new updates and modes. Stop for a second. As you can tell, because Timeless, if Timeless isn't streaming Halo and Timeless is a big Halo guy, then you're doing something wrong. So give us the content. Anyway, that could be about to change. Campaign, Co-op, and Forge are both being continuously pushed back, and the game's community director, Brian Jarrett, has been doing his best to try and ease the concerns of worried and irritated fans. Halo Infinite is at a stage where it needs to do something drastic to keep players happy and to drag back those who have already left. A Battle Royale mode could be one such thing to do this, and some new evidence uncovered by a Halo Infinite Dataminer suggests a Battle Royale mode could be coming soon. First found by the Halo Infinite Leaks and News Twitter account, thanks Games Radar, a new game mode titled Last Spartan Standing was discovered alongside a short description of the mode. Quote, "Every Spartan for themselves. Level up your loadout by earning personal score to be the last Spartan standing," reads the description. It's pretty clear that this refers to an upcoming Battle Royale mode that 343 Industries has cooking, although the, quote, personal score, end quote, mentioned sounds like it could have some kind of twist to set it apart from more standard Battle Royale titles like Apex Legends or Call of Duty Warzone. If it's enough to reinvigorate the game's declining player base is yet to be seen. I'll leave the rest of the news because it's starting to talk about Halo TV series and stuff. We don't need to go off tangent. There's plenty to talk about just there. Halo. Bib. Halo.
Yes.
Hello. See, I'm going to stop. Going a little bit of tangent. I saw a tweet that keeps coming around and it keeps getting shared like every other couple of weeks, and it's like hello is now the new stop, because stop used to be you were either stop, collaborate, and listen, because I was back with a brand new invention, or you were stop, hammer time. Whereas now hello is like hello, which is either what was it? I've completely forgotten the artist.
Lionel Richie,
there we go. Or if you were not as old as us, then Adele. So there you go. Anyway, complete tangent from that. Halo, not hello.
Yes.
Great game. Free game.
Yes.
Lots of people jumped in, played it. Exceptional. Just didn't have much content. Didn't have a lot more going for it. So lots of people jumped out. And within a month or two, Halo, the biggest release anticipated for the Xbox Series X, had dropped outside of the top 5 games. Apex Legends, which... Bye, babe. Oh, there he is. Nice. Apex Legends, which is a completely... not completely different or completely similar game. A game that shares a lot of similarities, but has been out a lot longer and doesn't have the oomph that a first-party game would have, was still outperforming it. So therefore, the game clearly wasn't doing all things right. Could a Battle Royale being thrown into that mix be enough to reinvigorate the game for players? What do you think?
I think anything at this moment in time will reinvigorate it. I feel like it's a victim of its own success in terms of it was so good out of the gate that everyone flocked to play it, had a good time with it, but there just wasn't enough there. The extended season, which I think is up this month, isn't it? I think it was the season 1 lasted for like 4.5 months, and I'm sure it was at the end of April. Season 2 was looking to start to get rolled out. So I genuinely think anything now would probably give it a new lease of life, which again is a little bit of a shame that they've kind of left it so long, but hopefully this is the kind of thing that brings you back into playing Halo again, because the game itself is fantastic. Like, it feels like a traditional Halo shooter, and again, I say this quite a lot, it sounds ridiculous, but if you play the first 3 Halos and then anything afterwards, it kind of, for me personally, and this is my opinion, it might not be yours, but it kind of feels like it loses the Halo-ness that made it great in the first place. So going back to that kind of style and that kind of movement and that kind of speed is what made this Halo fantastic for people. Again, in my opinion, in the circle of friends that I have and the extended circle in terms of social media and the people that I follow, that's kind of what it feels like. And it's just a shame that we've had to wait so long. And the people who are the Halo hardcore have had to wait so long for something or a reason to be able to come back and play it. So I feel like anything would make anyone go back to Halo, providing that it's half decent. Like they can't half it because it's been so long. They can't half-ass it. But I feel like it definitely is in good hands. I just hope that whenever the new update comes out for it, that kickstarts it, and then we start to see consistent things getting put forward. Because I can't imagine it's going to do too well if season 2 lands and it's another 4.5 month season. That's ridiculous for any kind of game where you're having a live update for that long, because you can clear that. People was clearing it in 2.5 weeks. What do you do after that, Graham? Play for kill deaths?
Do it again.
Leaderboard stuff?
Do it again and again.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the thing for it, though. Like a battle royale versus a multiplayer game, they are different elements in today's world. In terms of, a lot of people can find a battle royale game tedious. Lots of people don't. I mean, myself obviously included in the not. I play battle royale every day because it's the same parameters, but it's a different story every time, even though there's no story. It's an unscripted story. And multiplayer is the same thing, but if a lot of people can find battle royale tedious because you're doing the same thing, multiplayer is that to the nth degree. It's 5, 10, 15-minute matches of just the same stuff. Spawn, die, spawn, die, spawn, die, spawn, die. So arena shooters now more than ever need content, need something to sustain their audiences. And Halo started with arguably the hardest part, getting everything balanced, getting everything feeling good, having that old school Halo feel, but modernizing it enough so that people don't feel like Bibby talks about tank controls in old Resident Evil games. The games being great, but not necessarily are the greatest to play for modern day players. Halo had to essentially deal with their own version of that. And I mean, I'm not a Halo player, so I'm quoting other people that I've watched, so I could be misquoting this. But things like the grappling hook using to move around and stuff has made that like a nice way of modernizing the movements and stuff while still keeping it feeling like a Halo. That's the hardest bit to do, and they did that. However, they had all of those bits and pieces in place. The additional content that came with that, they didn't have in place. So rather than kind of turning things off and then going, do you know what, we'll wait another 6 months and bring you the content, they went, okay, you can play this in the meantime, which is great to give people a chance to jump in. It's free to play, so a lot of people will try it the first time. The downside, though, is that a lot of people will have tried that free to play. That will have been their first impression, and they almost have what Battlefield 2042 fans have. It was all right, but it's not really what I wanted. I mean, obviously, that's a poor comparison because Battlefield 2042 is so much worse than Halo. It's broken. Halo is not broken. Halo just needs... People don't want to play more of Battlefield 2042. People are upset because they can't play more of Halo, which is a considerable difference. Even though there's a lot of similarities, it's a considerable difference. So Halo getting a Battle Royale mode, I think, could be a big thing, but it definitely needs to sit alongside more. Just throwing in a Battle Royale mode alongside it doesn't give you oomph. People need more sustenance. They need battle passes. They need season passes. They need in-game content. We need to see limited time modes. I mean, if you look across the battle royale landscape, we've got Fortnite, which has just gone, okay, yeah, we'll make a limited time mode into a permanent thing. Zero build, yeah, fine forever. And then you've got Apex. I don't know. Apex is off the radar for me, but it clearly is doing big things because it's in the top 5 played Halo Xbox games, and everyone's always talking about it. Call of Duty, not in its greatest year, but is building the foundations, potentially, at least verbally, for an excellent year coming forward. So it's only going to get more and more tricky for Halo if they don't bring out multiple forms of content. So I am excited at an upcoming BR. Not for me to play, but for me to watch Bibby to stream, or for me to watch Timeless to stream, or for me to watch Tito jump into our stream and get mutilated time and time again.
Repeatedly.
But yeah, I how can I put this? Not I hope that people give it time, because it's not really what I want to say. Is I think Halo is going to be here for a long time. And it's not that I hope people will give it time, because enough people will give it time. Halo will have its peaks and troughs, like all Battle Royale and all live service games do. I just hope that Halo gets what it deserves in terms of when it gets the BR mode, and once it's got up its new content up and running, I hope it gets another spike so that it sits at the top of all of the agendas again, because I feel like for such a great game that was launched in such a difficult period, and despite having not hardly any content in it for the long term, was up there with Game of the Year conversations for a lot of people. I feel like it deserves another time at the top when it does get all of its content in.
Yeah, and let's remember as well, this is a game that is now free to play. There is no barriers for you to be able to. I don't even think you need an Xbox Live account to be able to play it. So it reached a completely new audience that maybe were too young to remember the golden days of Halo, or maybe old enough to remember how good the game was back in the day that haven't played it for so long. So the world is technically their oyster. They're only limited by people wanting to download it, or in this case, re-download it if you've already uninstalled it because you felt like you'd have achieved everything that you needed to achieve. You might have played it, not for you, never again. But you're a massive fan of Battle Royales. That could change the game for you. Again, they're only limited by people wanting to be able to play it. So if they are doing a Battle Royale, it just needs to be advertised properly. Otherwise, you're going to end up in the same situation that you're in now.
Nah, I agree. BA Fridge says, I would try Last Spartan Standing. I'm enjoying the Halo TV series, to be fair. Halo has a lot of issues with crossplay and cheaters, which increases to be a problem. Yeah, I mean, we've covered those articles in the early days in terms of, like, you can't turn crossplay off, which I understand the sentiment of it, but I also don't understand the reasoning behind it. Unless you can now. I know there was articles where the community was like, just let us turn it off because you've got people cheating on PC. And PC and console crossplay is great. But if we can't get rid of all of the cheating that comes with PC, then you are hurting a large section of the player base that doesn't need to be hurt. The flip side is, imagine how cool PUBG would be if we could throw in the player bases of PUBG PC and PUBG console and mobile. Not that Halo is on mobile. Imagine the amount of players that you'd have for games there. It'd be great. Doesn't necessarily
just having the content from PUBG Mobile would be fantastic.
Yeah, yes, please. Yes, thank you. Yes. So yeah, I understand what they are chasing there. Excuse me, but the expectations versus reality there, just there needs to be fixes and stuff there, and they have done moves. They have made moves. They have had strides forward in certain areas to improve the quality of the gameplay, improve the quality of life for players. But there are some big things as well. Content being, and it's usually the same thing for live service games. Content and playability. I'm going to say playability. I particularly mean cheating. If you've got good content and no cheating, your game has a great recipe for success. This has good content-ish, just not enough, and cheating-ish a bit too much, which are both going the wrong way. You need to flip the script on both of those so that the game has the best chances for being successful going forward. Lotus has posted the mechanic clip in the Discord. I will check it out. I would look now, but I would lose the bib off the screen, so I'll do it. Tito says, I feel victimized. I bet you did in the games as well. Okay, for those that didn't know, Tudor jumped in and you know it was all right, but that doesn't make a good narrative. So instead, we will say it was.
But to be fair, we both got carried by Jordan, so as anyone would playing with him.
Yeah. Enix. Shout out to Enix, by the way, who's not been in for ages. I don't know. It's probably been a couple of days or weeks or whatever. But yeah, Enix is a good egg. But that's it. Bungie, not Bungie. I've said that because I've just opened up the next article. Halo drops off and Jordan drops off. Come back, Jordan. It's fine. Okay, next article then. We'll put a pin in that one. We'll jump forward, sticking with Microsoft-ish, but also bringing PlayStation into the conversation. Because what's better than getting two camps going at each other with pitchforks and torches. What's better than that? Well, there's quite a lot of things better than that. We don't tend to have console wars, and we don't want this to be a console war. But naturally, console wars are attractive headlines, so that's what we're going with now. Chris Scullion at VGC has this article that says Sony's Bungie acquisition saw more Twitter discussion than Microsoft's Activision Blizzard deal. Twitter shares internal figures for gaming. Let me stop for just a second. I did not expect that. I did not expect that at all. Not because Microsoft spent $69 billion and Sony spent what was theirs like more like 10ish. I can't remember the figure for this the Bungie acquisition. Still a big acquisition. Still a huge acquisition, but it's not as, for me as a gamer, let alone for me as someone in the games industry, the Activision Blizzard deal impacts me more personally than the Bungie one. But I saw so many stories and things like that. So to realize that there was actually more conversation around the Sony Bungie stuff than the Microsoft Activision Blizzard, that caught me off guard. That did not expect it. But that is the case, as the article says. New figures released by Twitter show that Sony's acquisition of Bungie generated more discussion than Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard on the platform. So Twitter's global head of creator and gaming content partnerships, Rishi Chadha, tweeted internal Twitter data that showed when the frequency of tweets about video games spiked throughout the past 3 months. Excuse me. Although the information provided by Chadha doesn't give any exact figures, it shows that there were 4 clear discussion peaks between January the 1st and March the 31st this year. These were on the days that Microsoft announced it was acquiring Activision Blizzard, Sony announced it was acquiring Bungie, Elden Ring was released, and Fortnite's new season started. So Twitter's data shows that the release of Elden Ring generated the most discussion by far on the platform, likely due to the many millions of players buying the game on day one and sharing their initial impressions. The second most discussed topic was Sony's acquisition of Bungie, followed by Microsoft's acquisition of Blizzard, which gained slightly more buzz than Fortnite's new season. Chadha followed up his tweet with another showing the top 10 games tweeted about the most globally in the past 3 months. Top of the list was Genshin Impact, with Wordle at number 2, and this is likely because Genshin Impact is enjoying success worldwide, especially in Asia, whereas Wordle is naturally mainly popular in English-speaking countries. Elden Ring came in at number 7 in the chart, while Minecraft claimed the number 10 spot. Okay, I'll read this last bit just so we can refresh the figures. It was the Bungie was actually much more lower than I thought. Xbox parent Microsoft confirmed in January that it planned to acquire Activision Blizzard in the games industry's biggest ever deal, valued at $68.7 billion. Just 13 days later, Sony revealed a big money acquisition of its own, announcing that it plans to acquire Destiny and Halo studio Bungie in a deal worth $3.6 billion. Oosh. So Activision Blizzard, big deal, but not quite big news. Only third in the biggest stories of the year. Sony's Bungie, big news, but not quite Elden Ring levels of big. What do you make of that bit?
Does it not seem bizarre to you? Like, I know this is a very obvious statement to make. I feel like it's an obvious statement to make. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, which I probably am with this, but definitely the Activision one is a much bigger story, surely. Like, surely you'd think with all of the games that Activision has, Bungie, obviously they're just as big. Like, if I'm going like for like, you're going for Activision story, aren't you? If you was to play, play your cards right, where you're doing the higher or lower. If you got to this question, surely you're thinking Activision's higher than Bungie in terms of what expected engagements and things like that. Am I not reading the room right? Am I missing something here?
I think I'm gonna have to change that. I'll change it to ActiBliz, so it fits. ActiBlizzard, that'll do. Okay. Boo! The greater than symbol doesn't work.
It's a demo.
I was trying to go for Sony plus Bungie is greater than Microsoft plus Activision Blizzard. I'll just have a slash in it then. I think you're reading the room wrong. It basically proves beyond all undeniable evidence that PlayStation is just a much bigger, better brand, and people are interested. Calm down. No, there's all sorts of ways that this cookie could crumble. Sony has a larger install base, so naturally there are people that are going to talk about it. So that, you would say, in theory, gives Sony a bit of an upper hand when it comes to just having conversations. Looking at the number of discussions on Twitter isn't necessarily the greatest example of what makes something more successful in terms of conversation steering, because it's like saying, okay, Bib, you tweet, and Cristiano Ronaldo tweets at the exact same time. See who gets the most impressions. Well, Cristiano Ronaldo has more followers. He's probably going to get a couple more posts. I mean, Bibby's Twitter stats are absolutely meteoric, by the way. So unlucky Ronaldo. I mean, yeah, you might have more likes and retweets, but Bibby's got a better percentage. That's all we're saying. So, okay.
Absolutely.
So yeah. That's one reason for why it could be. The other one as well is that this was 13 days after a conversation was started by Microsoft. So Microsoft has got everyone in the room talking. Microsoft have just spent 69 million,
nice.
$1 billion even, dollars. Oh, that's big, that's huge, that's massive. That I wonder if PlayStation will do something. So PlayStation then starts a conversation. Twitter looks at that as two separate peaks. It might be two separate peaks, but it could be the end of the same conversation. So maybe that larger figure that was developed by PlayStation was propped up by the large figure below it by Microsoft as well. So there could be a little bit of that in there. The thing for me, though, that's probably more surprising and is absolutely great news for Gaming Nacho on Twitter is that Fortnite is pretty much as big as PlayStation and Microsoft. So there you go, Gaming Nacho. The Fortnite scoop, the Fort Scoop Night is yeah, there we go. We'll rebrand. We'll make it happen. So there you go.
Like, I know obviously Bungie don't have an affiliation with like Halo or anything anymore, and their current game and the thing that they're looking after most is Destiny. The people moving from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 and their player base is huge across all platforms, including the likes of Google Stadia and things like that. But for every Bungie, for every person that's playing a Bungie game currently, you look at the Activision Blizzard side and you go, they got World of Warcraft, they got Call of Duty, and that's just two that would eclipse Destiny in seconds. Like there's no comparison. I don't know if it's the inclusion of PlayStation in there as well that people are obviously making this out to be huge news, which it is still huge news. I'm just trying to wrap my head around why it would have more impressions. Is it because there's more PlayStation users out there, which are more tuned into the PlayStation news rather than what else is going on in the gaming world? Like, again, definitely just trying to get my head around things.
I think it's like you say. For me, I would play Call of Duty over Destinies and all sorts of stuff in there. But there's the conversation that Bungie makes Halo, right? Well, it doesn't anymore. But a lot of people like Bungie makes Halo, so PlayStation, in response to Microsoft, has bought Halo, which is not correct. But a lot of people were pushing that sort of stuff at the beginning because obviously misinformation, #fake news and all of that stuff. So I think that will have probably led into it as well. Wait, so Microsoft spends 69 billion on Call of Duty, and PlayStation just takes Halo from Microsoft for 3 billion. What? And it's like that's not what happened. So I think that will have been a part of it too. People just getting the wrong end of the stick and just being yep. So I think that will be a big thing.
I don't think we probably helped with stuff like that as well, where you say PlayStation buy Microsoft's Halo team or something like that, whichever we went with at the time. It was 100% clickbait. It was 100% shithousery, but I imagine most people probably would have gone along with something like that as well because it's glaringly obvious. Do you know what I mean? You put in 2 and 2 together there to get 15, but it works. Do you know what I mean? We definitely fed into that narrative.
As you can see in the chat, #clickbib. There you go. You got clickbibbed. There you go.
What can I say? You're the fools for getting clickbibbed.
I feel victimized. This is bullying. Just because you got Lotus as another mod, I'm now dispensable. So you noticed that then? Okay, I was worried you wouldn't notice it, but you did, so that's good. Nice. I'll opt for a carry any day, says Lotus. That's what you're here for, the Drigomeister. You're there to murder all the fools and park the Mirado with style. If anyone didn't see it yesterday, we may have had a mishap with the Mirado, but it's PUBG. It's a vehicle. It just is what it is. is. It is what it is. You just PUBG vehicles and driving as you intend just doesn't usually go the way it did. And there must have been like 5 different occasions yesterday as well where we're just in the air going over the crest of a hill or something like that, and you're just like where time slows down as your vehicle's like. And all you can do is just see a tree or a rock in front of you. Like, well, this is how gravity works. I can't stop or change anything other than wait for the impact.
Wait for the inevitable.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a work meeting. Not that you need me now that you've got Lotus. Kappa. Oh,
I'll tell you what. There's a couple of snide remarks going on here. Who might have pushed Tito's nose out. I mean, he's got competition now for the hat at the end of the year. Do you know what I mean?
I wonder if it's just a case of like, I don't know if is he aggressive or is it a small violin sort of situation? Which one? do you know what? Do you know what? We'll get Tito's sound effects playing. Do I have it on this setup? Yeah, there we go. Tito's sound effect. This is Tito's theme tune. And that's enough of that. Sad violin at the window. You're leaving to go to a work meeting? Return the cap. You are relieved of your duties. Damn. I was chuckling at this a second ago. Code Red says, I wouldn't worry about Bungie. They'll bounce back eventually. Whoopah! Oh, loved it.
Fantastic.
Loved it. Bungie is a little helicopter. Oh, wait, no, that's buried. David, that's bad. You can't go from bouncing back to Bungie the little helicopter as a Bungie reference. God damn. Still haven't had much sleep if you can tell. Okay, we'll let you off. Fine. Bungie was on Rainbow, wasn't he? Oh, I don't know. Bungle. No, you silly. 6 a.m. wake up on Sunday for some F1 dedication. Do you know, I'll spare you a thought. Well, no, I won't spare you a thought because I will be dribble and everything. So yeah, not for me. But you do you. Okay, next up though. From one shooter to another. The shooter being obviously, you know, Bungie's Destiny and stuff like that and whatever. But yeah,
everyone stop getting shot.
I can't believe this. Will everyone stop getting shot? Well, they did in Ghost Recon Breakpoint, but that's fine because there's another one. Sean Murray at The Gamer has this article that says, new Ghost Recon reportedly in development as Ubisoft pulls the plug on Breakpoint. When Ubisoft shuts the door on one Ghost Recon game, it opens the window for another. So Ghost Recon Breakpoint is done. Just a few hours ago, Ubisoft announced it was ending support for Breakpoint, a game that just released a little over 2 years ago, but has been a financial failure for the French publisher. The servers will stay online for the time being, but Breakpoint players shouldn't expect any new content. Oh, so it's like Halo then. Nice. Not even those Quartz NFTs. But when Ubisoft shuts the door on one Ghost Recon game, it opens the window for another. A new report from Kotaku reveals Ubisoft is working on a new Ghost Recon game codenamed Over, which is ironic because that's what the last game is, which has been in development for just over a year. The game was actually first revealed as part of the NVIDIA GeForce Now leak, and according to sources, it could arrive as early as fiscal year 2023, which might actually mean early 2024. Those same sources say that Ghost Recon Frontline, Ubisoft's nascent Rainbow Six-themed Battle Royale game, is undergoing a hard reset after some fairly negative feedback from the players. The game was put on an indefinite hold shortly after the closed beta was delayed last October, and now Ubisoft is going back to the drawing board for a major rethink of the whole game. And what of Quartz, Ubisoft's new NFT initiative that started with a series of very similar yet slightly unique cosmetics in Ghost Recon Breakpoint? That's apparently going dormant as well, although Ubisoft is definitely not done with NFTs. Quote, as we're rolling out the last update of Ghost Recon Breakpoint, there will not be any additional content added to the game. A Ubisoft spokesperson told Kotaku, we'll have more to share regarding Ubisoft Quartz at a later date. And then it just goes on to talk about Ubisoft got a lot of backlash when they spoke about Quartz initially. But there we go, Ubisoft, they've pulled the plug on Ghost Recon Breakpoint, but the next Ghost Recon could be in the pipeline. Yesterday, we had a conversation on one Ubisoft shooter being pulled The difference is we've gone from third person to first person today. We went from hypercrap being pulled in favor of a new third person, tower-esque, Destiny-alike-ish shooter game coming from Ubisoft. Today we're talking about the fact that their first-person title, or the first-person, I won't say title of prestige, that's probably wrong, series that had prestige, Ghost Recon. They've killed Breakpoint, but they are looking at another one. How does that sit for you, Bib? Because for me, I think I'm not asked, which is heartbreaking to say, because playing Ghost Recon games forever, I used to be excited waiting for the next Ghost Recon game, and now Ghost Recon is where Assassin's Creed was 5 years ago, maybe not even that, 3 years ago, where they were just going 12 months, new game, 12 months, new game, 12 months, new game. Not that they're releasing Ghost Recon games every 12 months, but it's the same. It feels like the same ethic. Let's just throw another one out. Let's just sell a little bit more. I mean, we've got the Ghost Recon license. Tom Clancy is rolling in his grave with the quality of the crap that we are throwing out here, but let's just do it anyway. Let's get more. Could this be a case of... they've talked about, I don't know if it was using the words changing tack, but a major rethink for the whole game is what they've said. That was for Ghost Recon Frontline. Do you think we need that for the full series? You happy with another one coming out so soon? What are your thoughts?
It genuinely feels like they're trying to throw as much shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And again, that's such a harsh thing to be able to say. But I feel like Breakpoint was definitely one where they just tried too much and it hasn't paid off for them. Let's be honest. The NFT stuff it felt like the final nail in the coffin because, again, if I've got this wrong, feel free to correct me, but I'm fairly certain that they are still making content for the likes of Wildlands. I'm fairly certain that was that's still being supported, and they haven't got plans to get rid of that one anytime soon. So I'm sure it was called Wildlands.
I mean, I think it was Wildlands. It might not.
Recon Wild,
it might be a case of they aren't supporting it. It might not be a case of they're making new content, but the community is supporting that game. Because we've looked at that previously, haven't we? In terms of
we was going to do some streams on it because it looks good. It looks like a Ghost Recon game. It looks like the kind of game where there's me, you, Lotus, and Tito. It's a 4-man squad. We're running in. Tito takes the front. Me and you take the sides, and of course, Tito is taking the back. So,
he's dead. Oh,
who's dead?
Can you res Tito in this game? Just leave him. Just
he's the bait. He's the bait. He's just the guy that stood out front with a bunch of flowers while all the rest of it are taking the bait. While the rest of us are flanking round.
Bunch of flankers,
bunch of flankers, mate. So it feels like Breakpoint was their breaking point. When it comes to Tom Clancy games, it feels like it wasn't necessarily dead on arrival, because I remember me and you going to Gamescom 2-3 years ago, maybe now, and they had a massive stand for it there, and people were super excited to play it. You could go around, you could speak to people. There was queuing in the line for a long time to be able to get their hands on it, and from what we heard, it looked good. I watched Shroud play it, I watched Stock play it, I watched a couple of Summit play it. These guys all had a good time playing it. Whether or not they had to say it, I'm not too sure, but it looks like they had fun playing it. It's just one of those where they tried to do too much, and unfortunately it didn't really pay off for them. So the direction that they're going to go with this one, we'll see. Hopefully they'll come back to some sort of level you'd expect. I mean, if I'm being brutally honest, I don't really think that the new Rainbow Six Extraction, I don't think that's done as well as they expected it to do either. I still think people are just more inclined to be playing Siege. I don't know, Graham. Like, this is just one of those. I suppose we're going to have to wait and see. We haven't really got that much to go off of yet. It feels like they are pumping games out left, right, and centre at the moment. Whether or not the quality is going to dwindle because of that, not too sure. But again, it's just we'll wait and see what happens in the next 2 years. See what comes out. Seeing what kind of critical reception we're going to get for it, I suppose.
I'm just sat here thinking now, trying to think what was the last Ubisoft success, taking away Siege. What was the last proper Ubisoft success?
Valhalla.
Yeah, I'd probably take that away. The reason I take Siege away and the reason I'd probably take Valhalla away is because neither of them were flawless. And because they weren't flawless, you wouldn't say they were runaway successes. Siege was a runaway success and has been a runaway success. But Siege is almost been like bastardized now, like with the likes of Extraction and so on. I feel like it just doesn't seem to be... They're cashing in on it a little bit. Valhalla was just... They cashed in on Valhalla with the horrible in-game purchases and stuff like that. The game itself was great. If the fact that you had to spend money just to play it at a proper, reasonable pace rather than having to do unnecessary grinding was tragic, because that ruins what is not a flawless game, but a very great game overall. So then you go beyond them. Okay, those are two great games that were marred by unnecessary controversy. Not marred for Rainbow Six, because that's probably harsh words, but you get what I'm saying. Go with it. So then you get to Watch Dogs. Just wasn't what people wanted it to be. Ghost Recon, Breakpoint, Wildlands, Frontline, whatever. Just not doing bits. Assassin's Creed's before that are kind of up in the air as well. You've got Hyper Scrap, which was potate. And you're just looking at Ubisoft going, stop trying to make money.
You throw in Far Cry into that mix as well. Far Cry 6. That didn't do what it potentially... I love Far Cry games. I still haven't played Far Cry 6. It's still in my pile to be played at some point. It's a shame. It's a shame because I feel like Giancarlo Esposito, I always feel like he deserves a little bit more respect. I mean, he has got the respect of Hollywood, but in terms of this game, I don't think the game surrounding his character probably was up to scratch, which is a shame. But Far Cry, is Far Cry one of them games now where it's no longer required? Which I don't believe that. I still feel like they can still have a Far Cry game in the world. I just feel like it's the same formula. It's copy and paste, just different areas.
It's copy and paste.
You're in the rainforest,
plus different areas, plus more ways of squeezing money out of people. I'm saying that from I don't necessarily believe that, but that's what people say to me regularly. Like if Tito was here right now, he would be saying that Ubisoft he doesn't believe in their ability to make a game that isn't just cashing on the end user, which is a valid argument. It's not necessarily the only argument, but it is definitely a valid argument. And that's what I'm saying. Don't just concentrate on making money. Naturally, you're a business. You have to make money. But if you concentrate on extracting every penny, you are ruining your future potential at making money. You are ruining your current potential because you're not giving people great experiences. They drop in and go, oh, great, more of this, the same again. Let's drop back out again. Nice. That was horrible. I'm not going to bother again, or at least for the foreseeable. Give great stuff. And the only thing I would say, the only caveat that kind of wraps this up nicely is that Ghost Recon Frontline wasn't great. It had some negative feedback, and there was a lot of negative feedback, I remember at the time. Enough to make the game not just be delayed a little bit, but put on indefinite hold. Just like, okay, this is we're not giving you a date, it's just not coming yet. That's it. Take that, and then when we tell you it's coming, it is. Until then, it's not happening. Which is what you want to see. That was October. We are now in April, 6 months later on, and we still have nothing there. Take the time, and hopefully that's just them going, okay, something's popped. We understand what we are doing wrong now. Like EA with Star Wars games. EA had the Star Wars license for like 7 years out of a 10-year exclusivity or whatever it was, before they realized, actually, do you know what? We would be better off just making good content rather than milking this. And that's kind of what Ubisoft need to have. Do you know what? Good content makes good money. Milking things doesn't. So maybe go for that approach instead. So I'd like to see Ubisoft doing a little bit more of that, please.
I'd love to have some information based off of how many people complete a game, then they release DLC, and how many people pick that up. Because obviously they're relying on people going out and buying the game originally. I don't think they'll make as much money off of just DLC. So like if you make a game good and then they release DLC, how inclined are people to go and buy that DLC versus them buying the game in the first place? I'd love to see some market research being done on that, because I've got a really bad feeling that the uptake in DLC isn't anywhere close to people buying it and trying the game in the first place.
No, I reckon that'll be the case. There's different things though. A lot of people go, well, I've played the story. If the DLC was that good, it would be within the story. And that's like, I can't remember which Hollywood director criticized the Marvel after credits scene stuff, saying, well, if it was, the content was that good, you'd have put it in the film. Why are you putting it outside of the film after the credits? So actually, I get the saying. I mean, I do actually really like the Marvel after credits stuff. I think it's a nice modern way of interacting with audiences. But still, DLC, if the content was that great, surely it'd be part of the game. And if the content was that great that it needs to be outside of the game, surely that would be the start of the sequel rather than just extra bit tacked on. And I do feel that, like, some of my greatest games of all time, like the Uncharted games and The Last of Us and so on, they're DLC-ish sort of add-ons. The Last Light and Lost Legacy and I can't remember what the name of The Last of Us one. Decent little add-on-y bits, but you didn't really need it. And that the thing is, because DLC is built with the idea of it's not necessarily needed. They understand a lot of people aren't going to play it. It doesn't become core storytelling, so it kind of it's useful for people that have seen it, but it's also irrelevant for the people that haven't seen it. So the stuff that's in the Last of Us, what was Left Behind? That's what it was, DLC. If you haven't played that and you go play Last of Us 2, there's probably going to be bits in there that are relevant to you, but if you haven't played it, then it doesn't matter. So, which means the content doesn't matter by default, in theory. So yeah, I imagine a lot of people will buy games and not invest in the DLC. There will be a significant drop-off in that, for sure.
Yeah, I suppose it's kind of each to their own, really, isn't it, when it comes to stuff like that, because you need to advertise your DLC to be something that's worthwhile picking up. Like the Resident Evil one, for instance, usually a Resident Evil DLC comes in the form of some background stuff, like character arc stuff that you may not have seen, like the Zoe one. I always forget what that one's called. But then they had like No More Heroes with Chris Redfield in the seventh Resident Evil 7, where you go just basically going through salt mines and things like that. So yeah, I do agree with you with that. I just there is a world in which DLC can be used to bulk out a story, not necessarily, like you say, being that the eye-catching stuff and the mainline stuff. The Marvel example I always find bizarre, if I'm being honest, because a lot of the times the end credit stuff is advertising a different film, not the one that you've already seen. Yeah.
Or is fourth wall breaks where they're just interacting with you, particularly if you're watching Deadpool. It's just comedy. It's just it's comic relief rather than...
Yeah. So that's a bit of a stupid example for whoever it was that made it in the first place. But
I think it was like some well-established Hollywood director. I'm not gonna. I'll say Martin Scorsese, but it might not be Martin Scorsese. And if it is, then I'm thinking, well, that's a different lane. Not so much stay in your lane, but you are talking about hard-hitting mobster gangster sort of stuff. This is easy, consumable, multi-genre superhero stuff or multi-audience superhero stuff. They're completely different things. Horses for courses. Stay in your lane. Ride your own horse. That sort of stuff. Yeah. But anyway, Ghost Recon and on and on and on, as I put as the discussing now on screen. That's what we're calling it, because there's all of them. We can only hope that the next Ghost Recon is something tasted. It's not confirmed, but the signs are that Ghost Recon Breakpoint has been killed, but it's okay because Ubisoft are working on the next one. Take the warnings. Ghost Recon Breakpoint isn't a thing anymore because it wasn't good enough. Give us something substantial. Don't just go for the annual releases that will just pump out crap to get people buying titles. You might as well be in the 90s where any developer was just buying licenses to any TV programs or films or whatever and just chucking out a game every 5 or 6 months because it was about selling masses, not selling quantity. And yeah, we're not in that world anymore. Quantity sells in the masses. So quality sells in the masses, should I say. So yeah. Okay, moving ahead. We'll probably pick up the pace of this one because this one doesn't need as much discussion. But if you are a Max Payne fan, good news. Chris Scullion at VGC has this one saying Remedy is remaking Max Payne 1 and 2 for the current gen systems. The games will be released as a single package. So hot off the heels of hugely successful remakes like the Grand Theft. Oh wait, actually they weren't. Okay. Never mind. Remakes of Max Payne and Max Payne 2 are currently in development. Remedy Entertainment has confirmed the games will be sold together as a single package and will be released on Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and PC. Both games will use Remedy's Northlight game engine, which was used for Quantum Break and Control, and the games are currently, quote, in the concept development stage, quote, end quote, suggesting a release may still be some time away. Remedy developed the first two Max Payne games, which were released in 2001 and 2003. The games were praised at the time for their groundbreaking visual effects, including the use of a slow-mo bullet time effect similar to that seen in The Matrix. Remedy sold the rights to the Max Payne brand to Rockstar Games' parent company, Take-Two, in 2002 for $34 million. The Max Payne remakes have been made possible then due to an agreement between Remedy and Rockstar. Rockstar will fund the remake's development budget, which will be in line with a typical Remedy AAA production. That's a quote. And once Rockstar recoups its development, marketing, and other costs, Remedy then has an opportunity to earn royalties from subsequent game sales. We were thrilled when our longtime friends at Remedy approached us about remaking the original Max Payne games. Rockstar founder Sam Houser said in a statement, "We are massive fans of the work the Remedy team has created over the years, and we can't wait to play these new versions." Meanwhile, Remedy CEO Tero Vitala added, "Max Payne has always held a special place in the hearts of everyone at Remedy, and we know the millions of fans worldwide feel the same. We're hugely excited to be working with our partners at Rockstar Games once again for a chance to bring the story, action, and atmosphere of the original Max Payne games back to players in new ways." Max Payne, yes or no, Bib? What are you saying?
It's a shame that we're not going to see that weird stretched face anymore, isn't it? That they're going to be making it with an actual real CGI face. Because it was somebody's face, wasn't it? I can't remember if it was someone who worked there or it was an actor. But they're taking his face because do you remember? You'll remember this. This might go over everybody else's head. But do you remember back in the day on the old Pez's where it just used to be a square? You would have the face in the middle, and then the rest of the face was on the rest of around the canvas. So like the chin would be at the very bottom of it. It was just like imagine taking your face, peeling it all off, and then putting it flat. That's what it used to be like. Obviously, that's what they've done with this. Just wrapped it around a character within the game, so we're not going to get the horrendous artwork anymore. Sorry if that's your face that I'm calling horrendous, but that was part of the charm. But obviously that's going to probably get taken away. We're going to see something a little bit more CGI'd, shall we say. Better. Probably maybe have a face model that's going to be based off of. Who knows? But yeah, it's... I think this will do really well. There's a lot of people that enjoy a Max Payne game. It feels like forever since I've seen one, and remaking 1 and 2, I think it'll be right up a lot of people's alley. Will I think it's going to make the millions? Probably not. I think this is definitely catered towards a very niche audience. I think it was a product of its time with the bullet time stuff.
Just to jump on this, so I've just done a quick search for Max Payne face. This is a Google result. It's referenced in PCGamer.com's article. It says, "Why does Max Payne have that face? It's a photograph wrapped around a low poly head to represent the angst-ridden gunslinger Max Payne. It's a picture of Remedy writer and designer Sam Lake, who chose to represent the character's deep pain at the loss of his family by scrunching up all the parts of his face at the same time." It's like, okay, you've lost your family. What do you look like? That's turd face. Absolutely.
It's the same expression on every single, like right the way throughout the game. It's the same expression, whether or not you killed one person, 400 people, or you're being shot yourself. It's the same face. So yeah, it's a shame we're going to lose that, but it's a relic of time. I'm fairly certain in 30 years' time that when they remake it again, we'll be talking about the first and second instance of Sam Lake's face being messed up.
Poor guy. Imagine that. You get to be like idolized forever. You will be captured in time forever with your face. Nice. And then full on meme city. For those that actually, I'll click this one. For those that don't know much about Max Payne, like me, there you go. There's an image of Sam Lake. That's his face before, and that's him a long time afterwards. You can see his age a little bit there, but there you go. That's it. Okay, so Max Payne, for those that may have missed it, is being remade for current gen systems. So if you didn't play the games the first time around and you do want to play them again, then good news. Not only is it being made by the original team that developed them, obviously Remedy sold it to Rockstar, but Rockstar are funding it, so it's got Rockstar budgets and hands-on, but it's got Remedy's quality, and Remedy obviously have made Control recently, which was a game on a probably, I assume, smaller budget, although this does say another AAA budget. So it's AAA level, but with that level of caliber. They will have learned a lot in the last 21 years since the first one came out. So I would say expect good remakes for this. Obviously, it's a remake, so that expect a good remake caveat always still stands in the fact that some people have a lot of love for things in the past, and you always have rose-tinted glasses, so there could be an element of, it's just not quite what I wanted it to be, or it could be a case of, it could be another. I mean, the last time Rockstar were involved in a remake was the Grand Theft Auto games, the definitive trilogy, or whatever it was called, and they were crap. Is the best way to put that. It was rushed. Too much AI, sort of like. Changing, whatever. It just wasn't what it wanted to be. There's been a lot of news on that. We've spoken about that before, so hopefully this one does a much, much better job. Bubba TV, welcome in, dude. How's it been? It's been a while. How have you been? Timeless After Morning. Looking forward to this. Love me some Max Payne. Max Payne's face equals Sam Lake, and the Max Payne one badass woman face is the face of Sam's mother. Well, there you go. Sammy, is that Yavi or Javi? But there you go. There you go. Didn't know that. See, Lake knows his stuff. Nice. How we doing, Gagad? How we doing? Didn't know if you were still here, but he is. Nice. Lurking. Like to see it. Well, not lurking because he's chatting, but you get it. You get the idea. Get the idea. Anyway, final bit of news and a little bit of negativity to finish off things. Also wrapped in a little bit more negativity because we shared this in the Discord yesterday just to highlight games industry plagiarism and big brands being dickheads. But still, we'll come back to that. First up, we'll go through the story. Jordan Midler at VGC has this article. UK retailer Simply Games has refunded pre-orders and appears to have ceased trading. The company has been silent since February. And you can see an image that is shown on their website as the header article at the top of the page. I'll jump into this story, though. It says, UK games retailer Simply Games has refunded pre-orders and appears to have ceased trading. The retailer's website has been inaccessible since February following the release of Elden Ring. When asked by several customers on Twitter why its stock had seemed to diminish in the weeks prior to this closure, a representative on Twitter said, quote, "We are currently implementing changes to our internal systems and reviewing our pre-order process, which is why we only have a limited display of products at the current time. This should be completed within the coming weeks, and new titles will then be added to the website." A message on the website currently reads, "We are currently undergoing scheduled maintenance and expect to be back very soon. We appreciate your patience." Since then, several customers have reported that their pre-orders for titles such as LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga and Gran Turismo 7 have been cancelled, or in some cases, simply failed to arrive. VGC can verify that earlier this year, while the site was still operational, the quote, pre-order, end quote, section of the store only featured a few titles when it would previously offer pre-orders of all the year's upcoming games. So then we've got embedded tweets for people that are asking questions / having things cancelled, and then we have a thread on the retailer's final Facebook post also suggests that pre-orders were cancelled with no explanation given. VGC has also been informed that Boss Steel's store, an eBay store that was linked to Simply Games, has also closed. While the page is still active, no items are for sale. According to Companies House, Black Cloth Trading Limited, which previously owned Simply Games, ceased trading in 2019. However, the company was still active until at least February in this year, albeit in a reduced capacity. It appears that the retailer was then under the ownership of Boss Developments Limited, as both companies were owned by Neil Muspratt, the owner of Simply Games. In March 2022, Neil Muspratt left his role as a person with significant control of Boss Developments. The company is still currently active at the time of writing. VGC can also verify that in the past the company was well known by fans for breaking street dates, which in VGC's experience could see games being delivered up to 3 or 4 days before official release. While games being delivered early is common for many retailers, the regularity with which Simply Games broke street dates became a selling point within the community. VGC has contacted Simply Games and will update when they hear anything. Sad news to see a retailer disappearing. Yeah, just kind of one for the times. What are your thoughts, babe?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is going to sound horrible, and I hate saying stuff like this, but if the reason they're being closed down is because they've been underselling stuff way before they should have done, then it's kind of shooting yourself in the foot. You get a black marker against your name from other retailers that won't sell you the games anymore. So therefore, why would people come to you for their new releases? It's a shame. I hate to see, regardless of whether or not it's brick and mortar store or an online store in the video game world, because it just means it's one less place that I could potentially get a physical game from. We are moving towards the digital world. I will eventually, when I can be asked and when I, on my own say so, join the full digital world. But at this moment in time, I still want to be able to hold. I still want to be able to hold a physical case in my hand and plug and put any disc I want into my consoles. That's just the way I work. There is still thousands of people out there. I wanted to say hundreds of thousands, but I think they've all probably moved on or grown up. But it is a shame. It's another video game stocker that's now gone out of business. Is what it is, but this isn't the first. It definitely won't be the last in the coming years as to this kind of thing. But hopefully, it isn't down to their own doing, because that will be one hell of a way to go out, because you've been doing it for years. People will cotton on. There is other gaming outlets that I will never mention out of fear of those going under, but they do the exact same thing as well. I've had games about 6 days before I should have had them, and that isn't anything to do with me. They just get sent to me in the post. I pre-order them, they come in the post, but jobs are good, and you know what I mean? But it's not my responsibility to adhere to things like that and not playing them or whatever. So
yeah, I won't name any sites, but I will say that a website that sounds a bit like schlop2.net was a good one.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, now not saying that these brands are doing that kind of thing, but like, I was always a big fan of using Simply Games, the Game Jar, the Game Collection, shop2.net, play.com, and like, obviously littler retailers that became bigger and then either got bought up or collapsed or whatever. It's always a shame to see one go, but you know, I suppose it's just if you've been gaming for as long as we have, you're kind of used to it by now. But it's still sad. It's still sad. I mean, there's been no official confirmation that it has been gone, but you know, it is what it is. Unfortunately, most people will get a better price from an Amazon or a supermarket, or will go for the convenience of getting it digitally directly from the store. So it is what it is. Sad state of the world we live in, but that is the news. Thank you, everyone, for dropping in for another episode of The Scoop. We appreciate you all for dropping in, especially Gagad, who's dozing but has been here as well. Wait, actually, was he here whilst he was dozing, or is he dozing because he's been here? I'm not. One of them is significantly worse than the other. Hopefully, we didn't put you to sleep. Bubba says, "I'm good, thanks. Work has been busy, but I've been rained off today." Well, you get yourself the PlayStation fired up. Jobs are good, mate. Both. Yeah. We'll take it. We'll take it. It's not entirely us putting you to sleep. Nice. But yeah, we are going to disappear. We will be back tomorrow with the final scoop of the week. A couple of bits of housekeeping to mention. We won't be back entirely next week. Bibby will be back next week, but I'm off next week. As it stands, I am still planning to do my Wednesday stream, maybe the Saturday stream next week. So the scoops will still continue because Bibby will be around, but the Wednesday evening stream should, air quotes, still be going on. Yeah. I should still be playing Chasing Crates with mates with the Triggermeister. Saturday could still be on the cards, but we will update you as we get to it. Basically, I'm off with the family for the week because it's half term, so I might be doing family things. But I'll let you know. We'll let you know. The best way to find out is to just drop a follow on the channel. That way you get notified when we do go live and all of the other jazz. But before any of that, Mr. Bib, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes, of course, Graham. Thank you very much to each and every one of you that have joined us for today's episode of The Scoop. We still have one more episode left this week, so if you want to help us shape that show, there's two ways you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. If you're watching this in any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. You'll find all the information that you can ever want about Ice Cream Uploads down there, but all we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very last show this week, which will be at what time tomorrow? Mr. Graham Day.
10 a.m. Ish. We will be back this weekend though with gameplay stuff, so you don't worry about it. It's fine. We'll have it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. But that is it. Have yourselves a beautiful day. Stick around as we drop a little bit of a raid on one of our friends. Obviously, if you stick around for the raid, you get extra sprinkles which you can spend on doing things like turning yourself into a mod, which Lotus did on the stream last night. Well, he only did it with 78% of the audience is backing. 22% were like, not sure about this guy, but he got there in the end.
I just said fuck no.
Fuck no.
Fuck no.
So yeah, stick around for the raid, get yourself some extra sprinkles, and we will pass on some love to someone else. Until then, though, have yourselves a beautiful day. Until next time. Wait. Albert. Is it Albert Kadir? Albert Kader? I'm trying to read it with the numbers. But anyway, thank you very much for the follow. Until next time. Stay frosty.